don't know if this is a Blumhouse production, but I have the strong inclination it is. Ryan Gosling to play the Wolfman in new Universal Monsters movie. All I know is the title of this. Our buddy from the channel Who's Nick, it's a small YouTube channel that does great movie news videos. We're gonna see what he has to say, react to it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But let's see what's in store, baby. My boy Ryan Gosling. If you haven't seen my Dear Ryan rap song from years ago, you'll know how much I love this guy.
Check that out. Do yourself a favor.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to talk about some news regarding Universal's Monster Universe, which kind of got rebooted, I guess, again with The Invisible Man, because before that, Universal was trying to build towards a shared universe of their monsters, starting in 2017 with The Mummy, but that movie flopped, and obviously all their plans shifted. At the time, after The Mummy, they were planning a Bride of Frankenstein movie, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Wolfman, and some other characters like the Invisible Man as well, but that was a completely different project. But now, after Universal has shifted their plans for their monster movies and gone away from trying to connect them all together in a Marvel-style universe, but now having basically filmmakers take their own unique vision and put them into the monster universe, it gives them a lot more free reign to do the stories that they want to tell specifically and not have it tied down to any specific time period.
Blumhouse literally
according to Variety, it seems like Ryan Gosling is circling the Wolfman movie for Universal Pictures, which is being developed as a starring vehicle.
Who's directing?
Sources tell Variety that execs at Universal have been meeting with directors over the past month and could be making a decision soon on who's going to take the reins behind the camera. There's no frontrunner at the time, but Corey Finley, who recently received rave reviews for directing HBO's drama Bad Education with Hugh Jackman and Allison Janney, is said to be in the mix. Variety also does say that at this time it's unknown what the new take on the Wolfman will look like, though it's believed to be set in present times and in the vein of the Jake Gyllenhaal thriller Nightcrawler, with a supernatural twist to it. And it's also noted that Gosling is the one that pitched this new take on the Wolfman.
Oh, really?
Ago, we did hear that Universal was taking pictures from actors and filmmakers.
Oh, damn, that's
cool. Of monster projects.
We're hearing that more and more often these days of actors pitching the ideas.
Like Karen Kusama directing a Dracula film. Paul Feig is directing one called Dark Army. And there was also another Dracula-themed film called Renfield from Dexter Fletcher, the director of Rocket Man. So Universal definitely seems to be back on track with these monster films, and they also seem to be doing stuff very differently, because if you saw The Invisible Man, which starred Elizabeth Moss and was directed by Lee Whannell, you'll know that
go check out our interview.
Keeping in the themes of the original story, but changing things up a bit, modernizing the story, and having a more unique, relevant angle to the storyline this time. And like it was cool seeing, one of these classic monster tales told in present day, which it seems like this new Wolfman is going to be. Also, the idea of it being similar to Jake Gyllenhaal's Nightcrawler film seems like a perfect direction to go with this character specifically as well. But drop your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think that Ryan Gosling can pull off this role? And what are your thoughts on where Universal's taking their new monster stable of characters going forward after they kind of went for the whole Marvel style universe where apparently these monsters were going to team up against some greater threat, but that all fell apart when The Mummy flopped, and now these monsters are in much better hands at Blumhouse. If you like this video and you want to see some more content from me, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon next to it so you can be immediately notified whenever I drop a new video. And if you want to hit me up on social media to talk about the Wolfman or anything in pop culture, you can find me in the links down below. With all that being said, I'll catch you guys next time.
I know who should direct this.
But do you know who's Nick?
Yeah, I do know Nick.
Who should direct it?
There's some interesting thoughts in here that are being reported. I think he should re-team with Nicholas Winding Refn for this one. I feel like for the mood, and also one thing with Drive, if you've listened to any of the commentary behind the scenes, they said what they were kind of going for was a Wolfman-like movie. They were saying that that's kind of the story that they're, especially by the time you get to that famous, if you haven't seen it, I won't ruin what happens, but there's a really famous elevator scene from that movie. By the time you get there, that is like the Wolfman morphing. With tone and talking about in the vein of Nightcrawler. I believe that was Tony Gilroy or Dan Gilroy, Dan Gilroy, who directed that movie. The way the cinematography is of that and the neo-noir kind of style is definitely akin to something like Nicholas Winding Refn. Now granted, Winding Refn might do things that feel a little bit more cerebral or weird tone experiences with super quiet characters.
This is going to be the quietest monster movie.
Yeah, probably. But they did Only God Forgives together, which was their last feature they collaborated on. But I think that if they were to work together on this one, I think it would be something very unique and cool. Drive was the most studio-esque film that Winding Refn had ever done. Similar to this situation, Gosling got the book for Drive, and he was able to select the director, and he selected Nicholas Winding Refn for it. So it sounds like he's back in a position again where he can select a filmmaker who would be the best person for this. And I mean, I don't really know what the take on it would be. I imagine it'd be something completely different again, the way how Lee Whannell did Invisible Man, but I just won't be a Tom Cruise like film with like
it's not going to be an action adventure swashbuckler or something like that.
When Gosling has this opportunity to work with a director or choose or something like that, they go for artsy stuff. So if you have the blend of something from Blumhouse or Universal but with artistic merits, like with those kind of directors and with Gosling in the lead role, probably doing another quiet character. And I also think it should be practical effects. I feel like it would be great if they could go back to good old days of practical effects Wolfman. That way Gosling, I mean, I know he could still do a performance in mocap, but I think he could even provide more with Wolfman, because one thing that Gosling's really known for is the Gosling stare, communicating a lot with the eyes.
Plenty of opportunity for that with the Wolfman.
And if you're in makeup but you still got Gosling's eyes, you can still get a great, deep, tragic performance. So yeah, I feel like this totally would work.
Yeah, well, and I think it is interesting the way that we're hearing more and more about actors spearheading these projects, especially because when it comes to the Wolfman, I'm going to flub this a little bit. Lon Chaney, I think that was Lon Chaney Jr., he was instrumental in creating that character and helping with the look and stuff like that. And so there is a sort of thrust that comes from him with that classic movie. And even Benicio del Toro cited that when they remade it, a few years back, a decade ago, in fact. But yeah, I think Ryan Gosling is a great choice, just for the demeanor of the character and the struggle that character has to go through. And I also think that of all these monsters, the werewolf story and what that represents, that sort of, monstrous duality and the struggles with certain urges or whatever, it's a rich territory to explore even now. And yeah, the idea of doing this in a modern day setting with a sort of Nightcrawler, you're on the underbelly of society feasting on the dregs and stuff like that. I think that's a really great take in order to, update it, because I think that we've seen enough period piece Wolfman movies now that it would be worthwhile to maybe reimagine it in a new setting. What is the guy who's going to undergo this transformation and this anguish? What real life, counterparts is he going to experience? And I think, Ryan Gosling is an actor who could bring a ton of physical body language presence. And Winding Refn did Neon Demon, which is like the closest to an overt horror film I think he's had thus far. And to see him bring his unique style, which kind of clashes with what I generally associate with a monster movie, to that field, I think could be really cool too. A different flavor of something that's a bit more on the vicious side. Maybe push Refn.
It would be gory.
It would definitely be gory.
It would be violent,
for sure. And maybe push him into something that has a little bit more of a in-your-face percolating dread or tension.
Yeah, because he can do uncomfortable that tension. Even in the movies that are not horror-based, he can have this sense of, I don't know if the right word is macabre, but it is very
like a sinister
my word
quality.
Is icky. There's always an icky thing going on.
There's something seedy and gross around the edges.
Seedy is what I would go with.
Yeah, and I do hope, especially if Blumhouse has this budget, is going to be a concern, but if there's one thing, and I know people always go, CGI, practical, but for werewolf effects especially, I think that to truly make this special, you gotta go back and do at least a practical transformation. It's not that hard to do a werewolf makeup, but to do the actual practical transformation, I think, is kind of important for this, because especially with all the controversy about Rick Baker with the Wolfman remake having prepared physical stuff and then them just going with CGI, and it was fine, but it could have been so much more iconic, like a lot of the werewolf transformations we've seen. So I hope they bring that aspect.
And I like the idea of Gosling being really involved in the creative process. His best work is usually when what he wants with the character greatly influences not just the direction, but the screenplay. We've seen that with the work he did with Michelle Williams and Blue Valentine. We've seen that with The Place Beyond the Pines, who was the director of Blue Valentine. Obviously, Drive, which completely steers away from the actual source material, and the way they formulated it was really based off of the character that he composed with Nicholas Winding Refn. So whoever he chooses, I imagine he'll be very heavily involved in the development process of how this character will form. And going off of The Invisible Man, what I think what made that so great was they made it a psychological horror film first and foremost, and then with the monster movie backdrop in a way. And I think you could probably be a little bit more overt with Wolfman. That being said, I feel like with Gosling involved with the creative process, that we will get something that is, it could be weird and it could be psychological. But he wrote and directed some movie years ago that completely was not received well, but it is like artsy strange.
Yeah.
And I feel like having that edge, but with a producer like Jason Blum, you could get something pretty cool. Like those are my favorite. You splice the two together, and we get really artistic people with a producer who can respect that, but knows how to reel you in.
You
can
to
get something
impose
great
the proper parameters that are going to help the project but keep it in check.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we get Emma Stone to play the romantic lead.
Yeah, then we're set.
Perfect.
They're set. And then we get Russell Crowe to return again.
There you go, as Dr. Jekyll.
Get that chemistry back from the nice guys. All right, guys. Well, what do you think of this report? Who would you want to see direct this? Leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Make sure to subscribe to Who's Nick. Catch you guys soon.